Welcome back to the podcast, everybody. We're here to talk to you about conquering your inner bitch. Every single one of you listeners out there has something in your recent history that's going to tell you that you have not lived to your full potential. We all have it. We're going to talk about it. But first...
That was fire, Trey.
Coming in hot.
That was good,
yeah. But first, though,
Sunday.
You're really just way more amped up than last week, dude.
Yeah. You kind of weren't present last week.
I know. Well, that's how it balances out.
Shake, shake, pink, pink. Oh, yeah.
One more for the road.
Woo!
I love you, Hype Dust.
Oh, my God.
Hype dust for the win.
That was one of my favorites.
Yeah, that's a good one. So is Saint Salts. Oh.
So try two.
Oh.
More quick niff.
Wow. Really clears the nostrils.
Clears that inner bitch right out.
Yeah, so speaking about, like, full potential, right? I just want, one thing that always plays in my mind, and especially right now while we're kind of building and growing Forge, is just like, sometimes it does suck. Like we drag ass, we feel run down, feel beat up. But sometimes I think that is the stuff that we're going to look back and realize that was the best part.
Yeah.
Right? Because I can't imagine not going through, and like for even my clients here that have rough jobs, kind of maybe they're not doing so hot as far as income or whatever. But can you imagine living a life where you didn't have something that you had to push through every day? Something that you had to, work for, to accomplish, something that you could feel like some, accomplishment from. Because I think when you're talking about people that live this life, we all know people that have just ungodly amounts of money, that are just super comfortable and literally could just do nothing forever.
Have all their basic needs taken care
and be
of, right?
fine,
Yeah.
right? How much joy are they going to get in their life? Because the feeling of accomplishment and that pride is priceless. You can't buy it with money. And the thing is their threshold for feeling that is so elevated because of how much, that is easily attainable for them. That, I think it just leads to this slippery slope where you're just become a creature of comfort.
Yeah.
And like Trey's saying, right? You have this inner bitch voice. You have your inner boss voice to pair that. Mm-hmm. And if you're living to your full potential or not. And the answer is always going to be there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think what Chance is talking about, and like, I give credit to Andy Frisell. I love this phrase that he came up with. It's like your bitch voice versus your boss voice. And he kind of uses a litmus test when you're making a decision or trying to decide what's the right course of action, right? So it's going to come down to like a lot of simple things, right? Like, hey, and we just had that Fury 56 challenge. Should I eat that? Or like, can I fit this in? Or you're always trying to find some way to compromise, right?
Or should I work out today?
Should I work out today? Or you like justify a reason not to, or justify like, hey, I can fit this in, or this isn't a big deal. And in reality, that's just your bitch voice. Like, that's the path of
compromise,
least resistance.
right?
That's compromising.
Bitch voice is compromise.
Mm-hmm. Versus what's the harder route, but what's the right route that's going to get you toward the direction of your goals. So I think far too often, and it's weird because you'll do it in your own head. You will play this scenario out, and then you will ultimately make a decision that's the bitch voice decision, but you just justified it because
it's
you feel
louder.
okay about it.
I feel like it's the loudest voice in your head. Like for the most savage of people, it's the loudest voice in your head.
It's the default. It's like going to be the passive. What's going to happen if you just let your thoughts go as they would? Because everybody inherently, it's easier. You're going to want to make the easier choice, but the upward route, upstream choice is like push past that resistance. And that's always going to be like the boss decision.
Yeah, because at some point it's like kind of bred into you, right? Mm-hmm. You stay away from danger, right? That's kind of where the bitch voice is that precautionary voice. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, maybe you deserve this, or you probably shouldn't do that because this might happen, or you don't know the outcome, where it's like, if you do this is going to happen to you.
Yeah, and it doesn't even always have to sound like it can sound like a justifiable thing, right? It's like, oh, I'm working too hard, that's not healthy, or I'm like I'm being too strict, that's just like, why am I being so hard on myself, or blah blah blah, or like, I mean, the narrative of today's society is so much more towards like, hey, relax, you need rest, you need to take care of yourself, which of course at a principle is true, but it's like, do you really, or are you just kind of like, oh, I'm gonna say those things to make myself feel better, but in reality it's like, and that's what we're kind of talking about, is like, you have this unrealized potential. It's like, we have so much more that we're capable of.
So much.
Human beings have accomplished so many much more amazing things than like we are allowing ourselves to. And, we're like, we're having a debate between like eating Fritos or just eating something healthy, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, that's where your level of battle that you're kind of, you're left with your life with. Yeah. It's like, human beings, like I said, like we have better things to fight for, more important things to struggle with, but we are such in turmoil where we can't even like make basic decisions like that, where it's just like back and forth, or you keep on making the wrong choice all the time.
Well, it's like, I like what you said once when we were talking about this, is like, if someone held a gun to your head and it was like, hey, Michael, should you eat that donut? 9 times out of the 10, you're going to know exactly the right answer, right?
Yeah.
There is no justifiable answer at that point. It's like life or death, you know what's right from wrong. So why are you always going with the opposite?
Yeah. No, you're trying to make it complicated. Or you're trying to justify it, and it's just like, okay, if you're unsure and you're coming to ask me, it's like, in that scenario, what's your guess? What do you think?
Yeah.
And you're going to be right 9 times out of 10 for a lot of things: diet, lifestyle, what's going wrong with your life, why your relationships aren't working. I think deep down, most of us, like, and of course you can have coaches and people help you, but where you're messing up. And maybe like half the time why you have a coach is to kind of like, hey, knock you into place, kind of just get you back on path. But
you need a louder boss voice from somebody else.
And that's fine too. You can have somebody externally helping you out, but end of the day, like, kind of think of it like that. It's like, am I listening to my bitch voice? Am I taking the easy route? Am I trying to justify my poor choices and not feel bad about it, when in reality you should be honest with yourself and know you're being a bitch? You know what the right choice is. This is why you're at where you're at with either career, life, family, health, your diet, why you're fat. It's like you're listening to that bitch voice all the time,
every single time. Right. Because there should be no compromise when you're talking about goals or reaching your potential, right?
Yeah.
Now I'm a fan of it when needed to pull back. Like, you have to be smart about it, right?
Yeah.
Like, say it's related to training, right? We're in a deload right now. Why? Because we've been going so hard for so long that our bodies are just rebelling against us.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe it's the safer thing to listen to the bitch voice right now.
Well, and sometimes too, that can even be the harder choice, right?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
You as a habit just want to go send it, and it like feels good because like, hey, I like to go all ham and work out, but maybe it takes more discipline, and that could be the boss voice in that scenario. Is like, hey, from a physiological standpoint, I need this rest so I can go back harder, and I like, or like you're noticing like, hey, my numbers aren't moving, I'm at a standstill. The reason is because like I don't have my recovery dialed in. So that's when a deload or focusing your recovery is more important than just, I just go hard. So because that could be easy too, is just like, I'm in a habit of just going hard in the gym. So the more disciplined approach could be just dialing it back when needed. But that's not the case for most things in most people's lives. Gym's an example, but there's a lot of other things where we just know that, we just do the easy. We try to take it easy. We try to take a rest.
And every one of us does it, right?
And it's like our society's built around it, right? We all are hooked on these Netflix series.
We all have everything at our fingertips, right?
Yeah, you get a little dopamine rush from your phone.
We have a system set up for that bitch voice to succeed.
Yeah.
Even unnecessarily.
Even like dating now is like, you just have to swipe. You don't even have to go up and talk to somebody. You don't even have to like go like confront people in person.
And that thing is if you start listening to the boss voice, it makes people uncomfortable.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
right?
It's not normal.
Think about dating. Yeah. Now, how weird is it to go ask a girl on a date?
Yeah, like when's the last time
say remember, like, when's the last time you remember just walking up to someone you don't know and being like, hey,
start a conversation.
Would you like to go get some coffee with me? They're gonna look at you like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
I'm gonna need you to check the app first and ask me there.
What's your rating on the app?
Find me on Tinder, maybe.
Did we match?
Yeah, have we matched before?
Matched before?
Where do you get off?
Yeah. I didn't even swipe right on you.
Or you just do it in person, you're like, left.
Yeah, dude. There's an episode of Black Mirror like that. Have you guys ever watched that?
Yeah, that's freaking.
Where it's like the whole society is based on your rating on an app.
Oh yeah, we watched that.
Every interaction you have, they rate you afterwards.
So like if you don't have like a 5-star rating, you can't go into like certain stores. You can't go do stuff. it's a really interesting episode. But that's, I feel like the direction you're headed towards, right? Because that's way easier than actually like just doing the normal thing, or what was considered normal when I was a wee lad.
But I mean, there's these modern advances that it's good in a way because they do maybe like save time, they're efficient, like there are reasons to have them, but it's like they do design it and hone it towards like us just making this easy choice all the time, which end of the day for your person who you are, your character, it's like not a good thing, right?
Not always.
If all these inconveniences also like make you weaker or make you just, now we have like no discipline in terms of our ability to like not go into that stuff or just not watch TV every day after work. Or not develop social skills and be confident with other women or people or friends, or just not socializing, whatever. So you have to be aware of it and listen to that and know that, like, you know, are these things that I'm doing, these modern day comforts, are they actually like making us more depressed, more sad, less fulfilled in life? And I think there's a huge tendency nowadays for, I think, depression and stuff like that's just rising, right?
Yeah,
I think it's a big part of it.
Well, then look at these situations that you're faced with every day, right? All my clients, you know, they have struggles with work, they have struggles at home, they have struggles, you know, losing weight. Take that and be grateful for those struggles, because you have the opportunity every day to make the right decision, right? Maybe you shouldn't have that glass of alcohol at night. Maybe you shouldn't do this. Like, don't give in to it. Feel like grateful that, because you are given the opportunity to kind of forge yourself into the person that you want to be, right? All it takes is just listening to the right voice in your head.
Yeah.
Give yourself some courage, give yourself some motivation, because the thing is, and that I've found, is once you start developing habits that are positive, it's easier to it's like a domino effect, right?
There's momentum behind it, right?
Yeah, it's like, you know, you can start off in the morning and it's like, I can't remember what I was reading or who I was watching that had these little like micro habits that they are trying to nail in every day. So it's like, I get up, I make my bed, and I have to do that for a week straight. Once that happens, then I'm going to get up, I'm going to make my bed, and I'm going to drink, 8 ounces of water. Once I do that for a week straight, it's like, how easy is that domino effect to build on itself once you just start listening to the boss voice, right?
Yeah.
It's like,
well, and that's where that bitch voice, boss voice really comes down, is it's really just the small choices.
Yeah.
It's not like your big bitch voice, boss voice conversation is like, I'm going to lose 50 pounds. I'm a boss. I just made that choice.
Yeah. And
now, no, it comes down to like, would you have for breakfast, like Chancellor said?
Yeah.
Or would you just say no to this or no to that?
Yeah.
Or, hey, it's the birthday weekend. Am I going to be eating all the cake like I usually do? And then you just, and it's a good thing that Chancellor kind of brought up, is that momentum thing is really real in both direction. And I think most of us and a lot of society is just like in that momentum of the bitch voice, where you're just always kind of taking the easy route, and that builds momentum, right?
Oh yeah.
Your discipline is like a muscle, like anything else. And it's like, if you keep on saying easy, it's just atrophying. Your discipline's getting weaker.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, if you always make that boss voice decision, which is the harder decision, that's like resistance training, right? Now you're building your discipline.
It's like
now,
training through weakness, right?
Now, little things like the little choices that are like, should I eat that? Should I do that? Or should I get up? Or should I make my bed? Like, those are easy. Those are a habit now.
At the end of the day, it's the imbalance in your brain.
Yeah.
Right? You have to correct it, just like you have to correct the muscle weaknesses that you have here in the gym.
Yeah.
Right? If your glutes are super weak and your knees start hurting during your squat, you know what to fix, right? You just got to put the work in to do it.
Right, but you don't start with that heavy 1-rep max squat. You start
no.
small.
Yeah,
you build
small
up.
steps, right? Now we're going to do some hip thrusts, we're going to work the glutes for a while, build that up. Same thing with your mind, right? And, I've told this story to Mike, I think, before, and it's one example that just sticks out in my head versus, the bitch voice and boss voice. It's about my father. And I didn't realize how much of a boss he was growing up, because I can't remember, I was in high school, it might have been my junior, senior year. He got laid off from the railroad. The railroad laid off a bunch of people. You take someone that's used to making 6 figures of income, a year, to just being laid off with nothing and having to support a family. So what he could have done is file for unemployment, and just live off that and just, make ends meet that way. But what he did is he decided he was going to take a job working road construction at like 45 years old, almost close to 50. Maybe he was 50. And I think one of the proudest moments of my life is they're redoing the road over the Dayton Pass, when they're building that highway over there. And I was going to a football game on the bus, you know, and I didn't really realize what my dad was doing. I just knew he was working construction. I didn't know he was a flagger. So he's the guy holding the stop sign. It is like December on top of the mountain, and it's freezing cold. And we pull up to the construction, and I hear someone in the front of the bus, "Chancellor, is that your dad?" I stick my head out the window. I'm like, "Yeah, that's my dad. Hell yeah, that's my dad." I slammed that window down. I was just like, "I love you, Dad. I love you." You know, because you just see him trying to make ends meet. He's out there freezing his ass off holding a stop sign on top of the mountain because he knows that he's not going to be satisfied just sitting at home soaking up unemployment. Yeah. Which how many people are doing that right now during COVID?
Yeah.
Like, dude, that was like, holy shit, I didn't know my dad was such a badass. Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
No, swallowing your pride, doing what it takes to get your family by.
Yeah.
And not just feeling bad for yourself or doing something where it's like, I'll just take passive money and then just sit at home, whatever. So, and then we were even discussing this before the podcast, and it's like, you look at stuff like that, and then, you know, and then in my mind, it's like you should have some, and I think it's your duty to kind of like pay back those people who've done that stuff. Like your family, your dad. Your dad. Like your dad does that, and you know, for you now, that's like a source of like, you know, motivation and fuel for you in your fire to keep going, right? It's like,
oh, for sure, dude.
Look at your family has compromised, sacrificed for you to put you in these opportunities, and then how many of us are just like spitting on those opportunities? And that
it makes me sick, man. How many? You know, kids. You know, a handful of kids that do that. Yeah. They're just living life off of grandma's money or granddad's money or dad's money.
And just feeling
they just sit at home, do whatever, don't pay bills, never had a job. I mean, it's overwhelming how many, especially now, that can do that. Yeah. Right? And it doesn't even have to be kids. It can be spouses too. Right? Like, okay, maybe, you're raising your kids at home too. But I mean, at the end of the day, like, there's got to be something that you're providing. Yeah. Right?
No, I just think it's going to be, and if you waste on that, like, then this is where you start deviating your family's path, right? Yeah. Your life's path too. Yeah. It's like you don't have this, you don't come from this place of gratitude for the people who have made those kind of sacrifices for you. Because everybody, I don't care where you're at, there's people even in our past, like America's past, like in wars and people that have died, general, and like there's so much crap that has happened for you to be where you are right now, and you are at this great time in like history of the world in terms of like what's available to us, technology, like our resources. Yeah. But
you choose to get shit-faced on the weekends and go to the bar.
Yeah.
Instead of doing something productive.
Yeah.
Right? So like Michael was saying, you owe it to them.
Yeah. I feel like it's a moral thing.
Why would you not want to be the best version that you can be physically, mentally, your career, your relationship, if you are living in this shadow casted by, you know, the people that came before you. You know, and the thing is maybe you don't realize it, but maybe you should take a step back and evaluate it, right? My dad casts a huge shadow on me. Someday I hope I can feel it. He probably thinks I've already filled it. You know, but to me, I still feel like I'm, you know, standing in his big toe. It's like there's way more I need to do. My shadow is tiny compared to that. I feel like I'm 10 inches tall.
Yeah, man.
You know, like he has gone through way more stuff.
Yeah.
That's one of my biggest motivating factors, man. I have generations of people before me that just work their fucking hands to the bone.
Yeah.
Just so I could be here right now. Like,
doing a podcast.
I better do something about that, man. That eats at me every day, dude.
What can you provide? What can you provide for your family? What can you provide for, you know, the people that you care about, and maybe even the community that you live in?
Yeah.
Because that is huge.
Well, I mean, just think about it. Like, if you are going to take this maybe easy path and not realize your potential, it's like that actually can harm. That is like not like, hey, I'll do my thing, YOLO. It's like, think about like if you were the doctor that didn't become you didn't become the doctor that could save lives, or you're not a very good doctor, you could have helped more people, or if you didn't start that business and provide jobs for other people, or even if your own immediate family, it's like, I'm not working hard, or I didn't reach my potential. It's like your kids will suffer, your wife will suffer, I didn't like try to better myself. Like, you're not as good of a friend as you could have been,
or even think about your health, right? Think about your health. You know, you could have worked on that and stuck around and been a longer impact on your family, for your kids.
Yeah.
You know, you could have been there for your spouse longer.
Yeah.
Think about what you're doing in terms of your health if you want to relate it to fitness.
Or if you're going to start needing hospitalization or medical bills, like you're stressing your family and friends around you, like to try to help you, or, you know, like you have to see them suffering with their health, you know?
Yeah.
So all of that, like you not realizing and you not trying to better yourself is like exceedingly like likely to impact in a negative way the people around you, friends, family, otherwise. So it's like, it's a moral thing to like better yourself, to quit taking the bitch voice path, to like try to do the best you can. But you know, realize that it's like, I think it's your duty, and I think you owe it to yourself and you owe it to obviously everyone that's helped you or been there in the past to get you where you're at now.
And me, I'd say it's more for the people in the past and the people that are around you.
Yeah.
Because you'll fail yourself Monday through Saturday, twice on Sunday.
Well, it's easy, right? To
It's
justify
too
it for
easy.
yourself. Like,
Yeah.
I'm fine, I don't care.
Your bitch voice will compromise and tell you the reasons why you shouldn't.
You're happy with yourself because you're comfortable, right?
It's just you know, you gotta kind of kick back. But if you put it in perspective as like, you know, if I would have done this, maybe I could have done this for that person better. Or this is for somebody else, or I owe this to this person. It takes a sad motherfucker to stop and not commit and follow through
Yeah. And
on someone else's accord.
you know how, I mean, I guess I know all of us can name somebody that's close, family, friends, otherwise, that's like they're making hard choices or not making the right choices, right? And like it impacts you, it impacts like us. It's like if you have a family that's like unhealthy, and it's obviously because of their choices, right? Like it's like, oh my gosh, like we're having a hard time paying their bills, or we have to take care of them, or that family member that's just like making stupid choices and like hurting themselves, or like now you're burdening all these people around you because you're not in a position where you're like, you know, strong, well off, taking care of yourself, or, you know, happy and like, you know, putting out positivity and like good things out for the people around you.
And when you become this pity monster, you know, where you're like, oh, woe is me, this is what's happening to my life, and la la la, people will reach out for a while and they'll try to help you, but eventually they're going to hit this wall where it's like, listen, I have told you that if you don't stop drinking, you're going to die.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't stop eating like an asshole, you're going to die. I've told you this a million times, but you keep doing it. What do you want me to do? Force feed you? Slap your hand away from the bottle of booze? I don't know what else to do. You just start hitting a wall, and that's when people that are on the right path start separating themselves. Because the people that are on the right path, you are who you surround yourself with. They're not going to hang out with you. If you're a hermit with no friends by yourself, maybe there's a reason why. Right? It's because you've made these choices where people want to isolate themselves from you, because just like I said, and like Mike says, it's contagious. This comfort zone is contagious. Everybody wants to be in there. And I don't even know if that's like the reason why people want to go be a doctor. Do you think it's always because they want to help people, or is it because they want to make money and live a comfortable life? I don't know.
I don't know.
It's a tough one. But definitely reaching your full potential is, you know, something that we can encourage in here through the gym, you know, and physically, but it's a lot of self-discipline, a lot of self-accountability and determination. Because you have to make that right choice. You have to listen to your boss voice, because we don't know what your struggles are on a day-to-day basis. And feel blessed that you have those struggles too, because like it's a lot worse than choosing what to eat. You know, choosing if you should work out. There's a lot of worse things out there.
Well, like that's what Chancellor's saying. Those things are all opportunities, and it's like we should be grateful for those opportunities because they make you better. If all of those things were easy, if everything was set before you in terms of all your needs met, there was no obstacle. Like there's just no way there's nothing to grind your character against. There's no time where like, you know, you can better yourself, and it's through the choices that you're better. But if everything's easy, or if everything was given to you, it's like that sucks. That's actually a bad scenario to be in. So it's like, you know, your struggles, like I don't care how small it is, if it's your diet, if it's little things, if it's getting up early, if it's make your beds, like all those little things are like, they're good. Like, thank goodness. Like, you know, I don't care if it's a small little thing. Like, I need to make my bed. I want it. That's something I'm fighting with myself. It's like that little opportunity. That's an opportunity right there to start building that momentum in the right direction.
Like, why do you even care, dude? Like making your bed. It's like, make it important to you. Who cares what they think?
Well, because it's the small things that really are going to like shine a light on what you're going to do with the big things anyway.
It's discipline.
You can't be compromising in little areas and expect the big areas to work out.
It's like what Greg Plitt would say. It's like when you're dusting a shelf, do you dust around the pictures and the books?
Yeah.
Or do you pick everything off the shelf and dust underneath it? You do it right or you don't do it at all.
Yeah.
It's like, which voice are you listening to?
Oh, yeah.
You know that the dusting around this, it's going to look clean, but you know it's wrong.
Yeah.
Like if someone's
Doesn't
holding a
feel
gun to
good.
your head, did you dust that shelf? Are you going to be like, yes, I dust the shelf? You're going to be like,
No,
well,
it's not right.
technically I didn't get under the books. Just like,
Well, but that sounds small, right? It's like, who gives a crap about a dusty cupboard?
Yeah.
But that is building the habits that you're going to be. That's you building those pathways, that habit in your brain to be like, oh, I
Right.
can compromise, or that's not a big deal. It's good enough. It's like, so you're always just kind of settling, and you're always just like kind of compromising.
Don't.
Like, what do you think when there's something big in your life, like going to school for med school, or trying to start a business, or taking care of your kids? It's like you're going to be compromising left and right, because that's what your habits are.
Yeah.
So you use these small things to build that momentum, to build the mental discipline, because those are easy to task. Like that's a task you can knock out. I accomplished it. But then when you get to the harder stuff, that really does take a lot of grit. You at least have the momentum and the mental capacity and the discipline to be like, I can handle this. Because I always try to do the thing that's like the right choice, or the disciplined choice.
You always grow. You always grow the most from doing the hardest thing.
Yeah.
That's in the gym. That's outside the gym. Right. It's like no one likes Bulgarian split squats.
Yeah.
What is going to grow your quads? Probably the best in glutes.
Yeah.
Bulgarian split squat or some sort of lunge.
Something that sucks.
Yeah, something that sucks.
No matter what it is,
it's not going to be the leg extension.
Yeah.
That's easy. You sit there and just do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not going to grow your quads the most effective. It might be a little, but not really.
Yeah.
Right? You always benefit from doing what is the hardest to do, hands down.
Yeah.
And it's Michael said, it's going to be small things to start.
Yeah.
And to you, it's all subjective. Making your bed might be a monumental task. You could be like me that rolls out of bed 3 minutes before I'm supposed to get here.
Yeah.
How am I supposed to make my bed?
Yeah.
It's like, well, maybe get up earlier, idiot.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's what's going to have to be my struggle.
Yeah.
Most people are like, well, I get up at the crack of dawn, drink my coffee, make my bed, read the newspaper. I'm just like, I am barely breathing when I get up. Like every day I wake up like, oh yeah, another day to live.
Yeah.
It's like, no, we need to fix something here.
Yeah.
Well, and just think that sets the momentum for your day. Like, you're just waking up stressed, you're waking up late, you didn't make your bed, you didn't eat. But it's like, what if you woke up and just were like, boom, I crushed that beginning of the morning. And it's like, that will definitely set a trajectory for the rest. Because most of us wake up and just kind of like, I just want to be in bed, which is normal, right?
Oh yeah, that's my first thought every day. When
It's
can
like,
I
I
go
hate
back
being
to
here,
sleep?
I don't want to be here. But if you could switch that mindset, either like, maybe I need to go to bed earlier, maybe I need to get up a little early in the morning so I can like start actually waking up. But if you like have your coffee, have some food, like listen to some good music or listen to a good podcast, and then that's how your day starts, where you've had some good momentum and positivity to it, that'll affect how you say hi to that person that morning, right? And that'll affect how their morning goes, and that'll affect how the rest of your day goes.
Yeah.
It's a
versus
ripple, man.
And that's
but it's like, it's so stupid because they're little things, but it's like, or you could kind of just like, which we're all guilty of, right? You roll out of bed, you feel crappy, you're pissed to be there or whatever, and then now that rubs
Now
off
you
on the person that
coast.
you,
You
you
coast through your day.
And now by 10 o'clock, you're still feeling like coast mode, and you're like, oh, you just lost momentum, and you could maybe rebuild it, but it's that much harder.
And then at the
It's
end
like,
of the
boom,
day,
I crushed it from the
your
get-go.
bitch voice is like, at least you did it. At least you tried.
Yeah, it's
you
like, at least
showed
I-
up
yeah.
and you gave, at least you were there.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you
Not
could have
at all.
freaking been there and been present.
Yeah.
Dude, you half-assed the whole day.
Yeah.
I feel that all the time in here. I'm sorry, guys. Sometimes I feel like I'm half-assing.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, yeah,
there's
we're
days
guilty
where
of it,
I'm
too.
fire. I'm on fire. I'm
Yeah.
telling you guys, I'm really being a coach. And then there's days where I'm just like,
Going through the
Yeah.
motions, right? Don't
yeah,
wanna
we're
be there.
gonna lift this today, and I'm sorry. I can do better than that.
Yeah, we're all guilty of it, right? Like,
Yeah.
we're talking to ourselves as much as we're just doing
Oh,
a
yeah.
podcast, right?
Yeah. It's
This is
everybody.
all-
This
This is just
us.
like literally me just venting.
I think about, our bitch voice is ever present. I hear it every day too.
Yeah.
And they're just as guilty as you guys. But if we put in perspective what we're talking about, it's like you make that right choice. You do listen to the boss voice. We're trying to like kind of shine a light of like how that's going to affect you and how it's going to affect your day, the people around you, your
community.
life in general,
Yeah.
community. So it's just something that we're trying to bring awareness to, because you don't always think about it, right?
Yeah.
You're going to justify, you're going to be fine with it, and it just becomes a habit and it's your norm. And then you don't think that, like, why is my life off track? Why do I feel unhappy? Why are things shitty in my life? But it's because, way back when, and just the habits you've built throughout your
every
lifetime,
day.
every day. It's like I have just had this slow trajectory of fading into like passivity and ease and comfort.
Yeah.
But we're trying to help, like, hey, let's turn that
And that's what society wants too, dude. Like, not to be
easy.
like a conspiracy theorist, but like, what's easier to control? The docile comfort creature or the lion who just wants to go out and be a savage all the time?
Oh, yeah.
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 Sheep are more easy to control, dude. They follow the pack.
Oh, yeah. If you want to be somebody high up in that
flock of sheep, it's got to be a flock of
It's a
sheep.
flock of sheep.
A herd?
It's a
herd.
flock.
It's a
It's a
herd.
flock.
Flock is
It's a flock of sheep,
flock
dude.
is no, it's a herd.
Flock that, dude. It's definitely a
It's herd. Flock is like birds.
It's not a herd. They're not cows.
A herd
What?
of sheep.
They're closer to cows than they are birds.
How?
What?
I feel like flock just is like area.
I guarantee you it's a flock of sheep, dude.
Anyways, that was a tangent. Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry.
But yeah, like we were saying, right? It's way easier to control that.
Yeah.
Be dependent on the system because you're a sheep.
And that's a good example of how it comes down to the little things. You identify the big issue. God, I need to get up earlier. Maybe
That's
I want
it.
to get up and make my bed so I have like something solid to grasp on. Well, okay, make it easier for yourself. Maybe go to bed earlier, or maybe give yourself something to look forward to. Okay, I'm going to get the coffee ready at night before I go to bed.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to get my food ready before I go to bed. Then I
have
got
that
something to look forward to. I'm going to
Bagel
get up
cream
earlier.
cheese in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are some little steps you can take the night before. Boom, check those off. You feel good. You go to bed feeling
it's
good. Then
almost
you
like-
wake up feeling good, and then you can tackle the day feeling good.
Yeah, you can pregame. You can pregame for a good day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every single day.
Well, and that's like I hardly see any really, really successful people that like don't have kind of some habits like that, right?
Yeah.
They're doing stuff like that. And it's
Tony
like,
Robbins gets up in the morning, jumps in a fucking ice bath,
Oh, God.
freezes himself damn near to death,
Yeah.
just for fun.
Flock that. Dude.
Yeah, and it doesn't. I mean, you don't have to copy anybody's routine, but you'll know where you're at and what little things you could start doing that like
Right.
just build momentum.
Make
Doesn't
your
have
own
to-
routine that
don't-
fits to you.
Yeah, because some of them you're not going to vibe with, or whatever. But there's definitely things that we all know we could start doing that are like, hey, I realize that I'm struggling with this, or why I'm not moving the right direction. So I think it is a good perspective, is in starting small, especially if it's like a big task you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
But all of that's getting you there every bit of the day.
Just build a boss ass day.
Yeah.
Just build it. Start
One
in
day
the
built
morning.
on 2 days, then 3 days, and then most of your week, and then all of your week. Then you have a month that's a good month, and it's like that will just change your life in a crazy way and
You
affect
have-
everything.
And the thing is, you're not perfect every day, but if you got 4 days out of the 7 days where you had a boss ass day, you won the week. Do that for the weeks. Do that for the months.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you had a boss ass year. Just think about how boss you are for a whole year, right? If 8 out of the total, you had 10 months where you just had the majority were boss ass weeks, boss ass days.
Yeah, make a huge difference.
Boss year, man. I bet you're in a way better place mentally.
Yeah, and that honestly, like a year like that could totally change the trajectory of everything in your life.
Everything.
Your relationships, your business,
Your
your
mind
family.
would change.
Yeah,
I mean, like we talked about, I don't remember what podcast, the mental nutrition.
yeah,
You can sculpt the mind because it's always wanting to change.
Oh yeah,
So,
it's very plastic.
and it's not
no doubt.
and it's not too late to start. You guys aren't stuck in your ways because you're 50 plus years old. It's like it's not too early to start. We've trained kids that are, it's like, come on.
Yeah,
And here's the thing about, people that are in that position. You talked about character earlier, that, they're successful and they live these comfort lives. How many of them have a good character? How many of them do you really want to hang out with? None, dude.
no,
I'd rather hang out with the people that go through the struggles, that could teach you something and all that.
Yeah.
That's, their character is way better.
yeah, and you've been around those people that like you're around them, and it builds you up. It gives you that vibe that you get from them is like positive, right?
And it's what we try to put out here at Forge. It's like, we want to build you guys up.
Yeah,
Even if we're a brick wall with no mason falling apart, like we just want to build you guys up too. So
yeah.
So do all that.
do all of it. I think that was a lot to go over. But,
Yeah.
I think there's some really valid points. Try to have zero compromises. Right? You know the answer deep down. Right from wrong. I think everybody was born with it. So
you have a compass you can follow. Put that gun to your head, you'll know that.
Yeah.
If you're listening to your bitch voice,
I mean,
your
don't
boss
put
voice.
a gun to your head.
Don't do that. Advisory. This is not literal advice.
Like, know the right from wrong.
There's an if before
just
that.
Just maybe say if it was life or death, what was my choice here?
Yeah.
Right?
You'll know the answer, though. You'll know if you're listening to your bitch voice and your boss voice if you're really honest with yourself.
Yeah. And again, it's your duty to live to your max potential for the people that came before you and provided this life that we have now. And I don't care if it's people that were related to you or that you knew. Think about the people you don't know that died fighting for what you have now. Just realize that, because you've got to live the potential, and it's something that you're gonna struggle with forever.
Yeah.
And maybe you never reach it, but just having a star to shoot for is going to be a hell of a lot better than living a life in a cave.
Aimlessly or without a direction, right?
Yeah. So that pretty much sums it up.
That's it, boys.
At the end of the day, your boss ass day. Build yourself. Conquer adversities. Don't listen to the bitch voice. Repeat this daily. Have a boss ass year, and you will live a successful life. Punch the mic.